Come back. If you are just joining us, you're on to your favorite program, Democracy and the Rule of Law. On June 17th, 2025, the Canadian Federal Court, under Justice Ungo, upheld a decision by the Immigration Appeal Division denying asylum to one Mr. Douglas Evareba, based on his membership to PDP and APC. Of course, they held that membership in an organization associated with subversion of democracy and terrorism, regardless of your individual culpability, of course, rendered you inadmissible to their asylum requirement. And of course, so many people back home and so many media houses have interpreted that ruling that the Canadian courts have declared APC and PDP as a terrorist organization. Of course, the APC, the PDP, they have issued statements dismissing the judgment. And of course, the APC have said that no foreign court can declare any political party in Nigeria as a terrorist organization. And the other party have said that the judgment was far-reaching, overbearing, and that it should have focused on the individual and not a whole political party. So what do you have to say with that particular ruling?
The ruling has come and gone, and they have left this trail a lot of dust. First, the issue that has made that to even happen in the first place is the issue of bad leadership. It is bad leadership that has made many Nigerians to have found a way to go to other countries, other shores. If our economy is what it's supposed to be, if everything is in the right place, Nigeria will want to go outside the country to seek asylum, political asylum, and then start giving reasons why he or she should be admitted to asylum. Is because we are yet to get it right as far as governance, leadership, and administration is concerned. Then let's go to the specifics of that cause the decision. Personally, I believe that because the two political parties mentioned, APC and PDP, were not parties to that case. And because they were not given an opportunity to make representations or to be heard before that court went ahead to make that decision, that decision was made a clear violation of the principles of natural justice. And natural justice goes across board. It's not just in Nigeria or in Canada, it's all over the world. And because it's from nature, derived from nature, you don't condemn anybody, any organization, any group without hearing from that person or group of persons. The judge went outside the ambit, the parameters of his jurisdiction to go ahead to make declaration over parties that were not before the court. And then, if you look at it also, can PDP and APC stricto sensu be called terrorist organizations? If you are looking at it, knowing the terminology terrorism, what it portends, I don't think so. I don't agree that the two political parties are terrorist organizations, but I believe that it's a wake-up call for the two parties to go back to the drawing board and ensure that those activities that subvert the rule of law, that derogate from the tenets and pillars of democracy, should be nifty. Because from the references made by the judge is that they carry out activities at ballot snatching, ballot box snatching, killing of persons,
anti-democratic activities,
and threats, and all that, and threats. Yes, you see, it is true that there are activities that are carried by some individuals in some of these political parties that are anti-democratic activities. But does that qualify as terrorism? Because terrorism are things that we all know are acts that nobody needs to be told. That, like what we've been witnessing in Nigeria in the recent past, not just recent, but over the years now. The activities of Boko Haram, ISIS, and the rest of them, they abduct people, they kidnap, they kill, they massacre, they bomb people, and all that. In fact, was it yesterday? I was glad when I read that the President of America has come out to declare that enough is enough in terms of the killings, particularly of Christians in Nigeria, that he has come out with the resolve to stop it. That human life and religious freedom are constitutional rights, and nobody should force anybody to belong to his or her religion. And that he has made up his mind to take decisive action to stop the massacre of people because of their religious beliefs or affiliations. I was happy when I read that. Because that shows that some people are subjected to terrorism because of their belief. But can we say PDP and APC are terrorist organizations? Like I said earlier, I do not share the view of the judge. But I believe that there are areas that these two parties, and not just the two parties, every other party in Nigeria must go back to the drawing board and go by the rules. What is going on presently in Nigeria is not a clear reflection of democracy as a practice in other jurisdictions. And that has led to voter apathy that we witness in Nigeria. That people don't feel that there's any point going to vote. Because some believe that the process is not hitch-free, is not error-free, is not prone, that is prone to manipulation. And for that reason, they don't even want to waste their time saying they're going to vote. Yeah. And when people are subjected to threats and death, there was this man, a gubernatorial candidate for the forthcoming election in Anambra State, one Mr. Wankwo, who attended a meeting in Abuja, and after the meeting in Hilton Hotel, he was trailed by men in a tinted Mercedes-Benz GL class, and they rained, according to him, they rained bullets on him and his vehicle. Eventually, he survived. Now, why will it be that politicians will want to kill each other because they don't want that person to,
yes,
to come against them?
You see?
And you see, the issue...
You are now going against what you have said earlier on. In fact, if, by your assessment, even this as your assessment now, you will notice that these parties are actually a terrorist group. We have had a lot of state killings in this country. Now, we have had a lot of the way the Western world. Let me just make this point quickly.
Yes. Now, what I said,
I don't agree with you that
I said
that judgment is not.
What I said is that for a court of competent jurisdiction to make a decision affecting a person,
yes, I heard that.
That person must be given an opportunity to be heard.
I heard that. But if you know the way international law works, let me just give you an idea of the way international law works on some issues.
Yes. And the individual, when they are seeking asylum,
yes,
then the judge went, ahead to make far-reaching declarations.
It is proper under international law, particularly diplomatic law. And I will tell you what happened in diplomatic cases. In diplomatic cases, it's just a question of perspective. To us here, we may assume that some of the perfidy of our politicians are within acceptable levels. But for people who are outside the country, the intelligent reports that they have about those who manage the political parties and the actions of those people is what has reflected in that judgment. And I think we should not dismiss that. In international diplomatic laws, where a matter like this is raised, the proper thing for judges to do, or that they normally do, is that they will call for the government official intelligent policy about that state, about that person, or about that group. And in Canada, I must tell you, the Canadian government had so much intelligence about this kind of use of state instrument to kill, to maim, to harm and the imposition of hardship on Nigeria, on Nigerians, and also the ruthlessness with which politicians steal ballot boxes in this country. All these things are within the intelligence report. So when such intelligence reports are called for by judges to guide them in a suit from their home office, they don't need anybody to come and give any evidence from any country to state any position.
That the judge cannot embark on investigation.
No, it's an administrative
judge.
It's an administrative team. It's an administrative team.
Evidence before the court.
Yes.
Presented by parties and goes on a wild goat chase of evidence.
No, I don't agree with you.
And the law is against the judge.
No, the law in Nigeria is different from Canada.
Outside what is presented before the court.
The law in Nigeria is different from Canada. Even in the UK, the British, when there is a diplomatic matter of that nature, they will call for the opinion of the Attorney General or the Home Office.
Yes.
And whatever the Home Office tell them or give to them become the basis of their decision.
Now,
whether it's a judicial decision or not.
The question is, can that judge, without hearing these two politicians,
he doesn't need to hear them.
Now declare them terrorists?
He doesn't need to hear them.
The answer is so. The other one is this: a political party is comprised of different individuals. Now, will you now label everybody a terrorist?
No, they are not labeling everybody. What they are saying is that in that country, their own perception of that political or those two political parties is that of they are terrorists. Yes. Now, if something, for instance, like the Ba'ath Party in Iraq, why was the Gulf created? The Ba'ath Party in Iraq was headed by Saddam. Saddam was the only, and it became an autocratic party. It became a dictatorship, a party that will kill his own people, a party that will steal state funds, a party that will do anything and get away with it because they had political power. And the intelligence report in the West is that those kind of conduct, those attitudes are reprehensible. So if you now asking somebody in that group, in that party, is now coming to seek asylum in their own country, do they not have the right to assess the group to which it belongs to, whether or not you call it political party? Are there no state killing in this country?
Let me tell you what is the right thing. The right thing is not to label a group terrorists, but the right thing is what the U.S. government does. What does the United States of America government do? They will carry out their discrete investigation and not individuals
they know us.
That are bad politicians, corrupt politicians that waste resources and lives, and they bad individuals, and that is very good. When you label at all this, they have their list. There are people that they want to draft America, they say no way for you. Because they already have an independent investigation about them as individuals.
I'm not disagreeing with you on principle, on principle. But what I'm telling you is that this man claims to be a member of a political party that the country regards as a terrorist group by their own political intelligence report.
He was why the two political parties were mentioned was that he was a former
member of PDP and he now switched to APC. Yes. And they are saying that, look, as far as that group you are telling us, those two groups you are telling us, as far as we know, this is the legal position, this is how we consider them.
All right,
we have had a situation. Let me make this point.
The federal government came up with a position.
It is irrelevant. The federal government's position is irrelevant.
And joined to the dustbin the decision of the court, because Nigeria and the political parties were not standing trial before that court.
Well, they can take that position, but the legal position is this. In this same country, Nigeria, we had a governor who claimed that, who was accused to be the one bringing in all these insurrectionists, all these militia into the country, just because they wanted to win an election. In 2014, we had a president who is acclaimed to be the leader of a group of people that have been killing people in this country. So, if they have such intelligence report, are you saying that if somebody comes and say, I am a member of that group, they should just admit that person and not refer to their own intelligence, the document and the state position?
What I'm saying is that people,
all right, let's because we
on their individual
all right, we are
it's individual. Yes. Egabeva went. They said no, your group is individual. It's still individual. The guy ever went there using the party to say, I belong to this party.
I don't think
this.
I know you don't belong to any political party.
I don't.
Good.
Yes.
All right, let me just
assuming you do.
let me just
Yes.
quickly
So
let me just
you
quickly
maybe
because
belong to a political party,
Yes.
and then somebody now said that party.
Then they need to watch. That's the perception of that country.
That means that you are equally
A member of the group. Yes. That's the
let me quickly
meaning.
ask
That's
this
the
question
meaning.
because we're almost running out of time. Of course, some persons have described this judgment as very troubling and dangerous precedent because it says it increases the scrutiny of Nigerians abroad, and of course, it will also discourage the youth from political participation because, of course, now the youth might be wary of joining political parties so that they would not be labeled as terrorists in some of
Exactly.
these foreign jurisdictions.
Exactly.
So some people have expressed concern. That is what this judgment
To me, it is
portends.
still good. To me, it is still good. Let me tell you why it is good. There is a need to checkmate the attitude of Nigerian politicians and their recklessness.
The
And their bad
thing is
policies.
that anything that will make our youths to play the part of pilot and wash their hands from politics is a dangerous one. Why is it dangerous? It's because already we know there are some politicians who have been in the National Assembly over the years, recycling themselves. And the cries of the youth that we must be part of the administration of this country, give us opportunity, has not been heeded. Now, if anything is done that will make even the youth, the future of this nation, to clear away from anything that has to do with politics and governance, it's not good for us. Because we saw during the NSAS protest how our youths were able to organize themselves. They protested, and in the course of the protest,
They were killed
in the course of the protest,
by the same government.
they never allowed bottled
And you
water
said they are not terrorists.
and pure water sachets to litter anywhere. They carried those things. Any of them that was sick all needed to just dial a number, and the medical attention will be done. And they were peacefully demonstrating.
So what happened?
Well organized. And that made governments to be apprehensive. That if these youths are given opportunity, they will do wonders in terms of outperforming those that are there. Now, I believe that we need to encourage our youth.
Finish the story.
To-
Peter, finish the story.
To be part of this nation, because they are the future of this nation. If the youths do not participate in future, when the old ones are gone, what happens? And nature abhors a vacuum. So, anything that is calculated or designed to make the youth to run away from politics, it's not good.
Peter, look,
And
you are right. It's
the
not
other
that you are
thing
not
is
right
this.
on what you are
The
saying.
other thing is this.
But there are angles to it that you are not
We
seeing.
also need to encourage the youths and make them to believe that politics is not a game for the corrupt per se. It has need to make the political field
All right.
a level playing ground
All right,
for everybody to participate, both the young, the old, and others.
We are not saying that the youth should not participate. My good friend is very right on his analysis. But what I'm saying is, we are not talking about youth participating or not participating. We are talking about groups that had made participation even difficult and impossible by use of force and instrumentation of the powers of the state to repress people, to kill, to maim. The way our police goes about protecting government, killing and doing a lot of things to Nigerian youth. Are you going to say that Nigerian youth want to belong to such a political party? A lot of young people want to belong to other political parties or political parties in the country.
So how would
But
the
when
youth,
they see,
how would the youth effect change if they cannot?
no, I'm not saying, you are not getting the point. You are not getting the point. The
point.
point is this. The point I'm making, there are other political parties they can join.
But what
What they are saying is that
there are two major
these
political
two
parties like
major,
you have in US.
these two major political
You can't make
parties,
change outside that.
these two major political parties, that the way they are running the affairs of the nation, they look more like terrorist group. And to me, there are validated facts that are behind, even in Nigeria.
So
we don't know.
do you believe that this will not scare the youths away from joining this party?
They can join other political parties.
But we know that, of course, these are the two major political parties.
They should move away. We should not begin to set a precedent, a bad precedent in our polity. Sincerely speaking, we cannot encourage Nigerian youth to join the perfidy going on now that we are calling APC and PDP.
Wouldn't they be the one to effect change when they get in there?
They cannot effect any change there because most of those parties are run like a cult. If you don't belong to a group, you can't get to the peak of those parties. You can't make it part. We all saw what happened during EndSARS. The EndSARS that my friend mentioned. What was the outcome of it? Nigerian youth who went to participate. What was the outcome? A lot of them were killed, and they said nobody died. They said nobody died.
Eventually, government set up a panel, and the panel came.
What is the consequence of that panel? What is the effect?
People whose relatives were killed were compensated.
No.
Whether it was adequate or not is not the issue for discussion today. For purposes of today's
a country that can open fire on its citizen,
is this.
A government that can order the killing of its citizen, and you say they are not terrorists?
And PDP
no, I don't agree with that.
Must go back to the drawing board and
change themselves. Change themselves.
Because
change their ways.
Good internal democracy in this party.
They should change their ways.
They impose things on their members.
Yes.
And saying that the course will always say is a family affair, not family affair. If somebody was not part of a process of election, and then after the end of the internal election, somebody else is
giving the power.
Not right, it's not democracy. Democracy should start even from the political party.
Exactly.
So it shall be internal democracy. It's a wake-up call for them to do the right thing that others are watching.
Exactly.
In as much as I don't believe that terrorists,
they are a terrorist party as of today.
But they need to make a lot of changes so that our democracy is not destroyed. It's already at the precipice. It's at the day. In fact, it's in a coma.
Intensive unit.
Yes. And if something is not done urgently, it will be a sad story.
Very sad story.
All right. We are almost out of time. Just take your last word before we call it a day.
Well, on the issue of the aviation saga, the aviation authorities are going on a 1-week retreat. And that retreat is to retrain their officials on how to handle passengers, both the ruling and the unruly. I believe that there's also need for public enlightenment on passengers, Nigerians that are traveling within the country or outside the country.
To comport themselves.
To comply with the safety rules, because those rules are safety rules. It's not just about phones. They will also tell you in case there's danger, in case there's emergency, what to do, in case of landing on water, what to do. All those things are for the safety of the individual.
All right.
And then concerning the PDP and the APC, let them stop those things that are evil, because eyes are watching.
All right.
Yes, I want to agree with the two submission of my good brother, because we are saying the same thing, except that we take different position. As far as I'm concerned, the way Nigeria is being run today, both the APC and the PDP, they are like a terrorist organization. They have imposed hardship on Nigerians. So now that a court, an impartial court, has declared them to be so, they should go inward and then try to review what are those things that they are doing that gives that semblance or perspective to people outside the country, and they should correct themselves.
All right. This is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Democracy and the Rule of Law. Meet us same time next week as we look at more interesting topics. Stay tuned to meet again next week.